So I'm going to do a test run today, and I thought I'd share the test run with you. So let's get started. Before I started filming, I've mixed up the gluten-free flour blend, and I'll pop the link again above. It's a combination of, so in here there's 4 ingredients. It's rice flour, but it's the white glutinous flour, which doesn't have any gluten. That's just what it's called. I think it's also called sweet rice flour and sorghum flour, buckwheat flour, the light variety, and I've put in cornflour or cornstarch as it's called in some places, or you can put in tapioca. So that's 500 grams ready to go. But first, before we do that, I've been inspired by a German baker, and I'm going to blend my flour in with kind of looking at her recipe, but tweaking it to be mine. So first of all, we're going to add yeast. So I've got 7 grams, which is 2.5 teaspoons. I've got light coloured psyllium husk, and I've measured out 30 grams, which is 8 tablespoons. And I'm going to add half of my water. I've got 640 grams of water, but in here I'm just going to add half of it, so that's 320. And 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. If you've got another type of vinegar, that would also work. Just going to use a spatula. And I'm going to sit this for about 10 to 15 minutes until this forms a nice gel. And this is what will help it rise. Now, I've looked at a few other different recipes for gluten-free bread just to compare what they do. And most people add eggs, egg whites. One lady from the UK adds 4 egg whites. Another recipe from America, King Arthur Baking, adds 3 eggs. I thought I'd try and do it without any eggs today. And as I said, it's a test bake and I'm not sure if it's going to work, but I thought I'd share or bring you along during the test. Okay, that looks quite jelly. I'm going to mix it all in my stand mixer, but you could also just mix it by hand. But I just wanted to make sure that it blends really well. And I'm going to add 3 teaspoons of salt. Now, a lot of recipes add sugar to the bread. I don't like a sweet bread, so I'm not going to add any sugar, because the German YouTuber that I was looking at, she didn't add sugar. So I thought maybe I won't add sugar either. So I just wanted to whisk that with a dry whisk. So it hasn't even been 15 minutes yet, and that's all really jelly. So I'm going to pour it in here, but before I pour that in, I'm going to add the rest of the water. So that's another 320 grams, so it's 640 grams all up. And I'm going to, as I said, use my dough hook on my stand mixer. And hopefully that will be enough structure to help it rise. I'm going to mix it on my stand mixer for a good 5 to 8 minutes until it's really well combined. Just need to stop and scrape my bowl. I've got a little bit stuck on the side. I'm just going to help that along. So all my flour has blended, and I'm just going to take it out of the bowl. Just mix it on the bench a little bit before we put it into our tin. So look at that, my bowl is actually quite clean, and that's what you want to get. I think that looks pretty good. I've greased my baking tin here. This is just a small loaf tin. I popped a little bit of paper just so it's easy to get out. I'm just going to pop it into the oven now. I've had my oven preheating at 190 degrees with a fan, and I'm going to bake it for 60 minutes, and I'll see what happens. Fingers crossed it comes out well. So I took the bread out, and it's been cooling here for about an hour, and look at that. My only suggestion would be maybe brush the top with some water or oil, because I've got this kind of like white crust from the flour when I was kneading it. That's the only thing I think would look funny. Let's see what it looks like on the inside. bearing in mind this is the first time I've made this recipe and I'm doing it in front of you. Okay, I actually think it looks undercooked. I've got a big hole there. It feels gummy, and I've got this, yeah, like a gummy bit. I almost think I could have cooked it for longer. I cooked it for 60 minutes, but I think it needed longer. Okay. Tomorrow I'm going to test this for breakfast toasted, and actually let's toast it now and let's see how it comes out, because I don't want to throw it out because it's almost perfect. Like the height's good, it's just that it seemed undercooked. So let me see if I can toast it and fix it up. All right, I'll slice some, pop it in the toaster. Yeah, it's quite gummy. We'll cook it for a while. I'll put it on high. So when I test bake, it's not often that I have to throw things out, but I do find that with gluten-free baking, when I bake with buckwheat or I'm experimenting, it is trickier. I find I have more success with spelt flour. This will take a little bit more refining, and hopefully I don't waste too many more recipes, but you can't just grab any flour and turn it into bread. It's a bit more of a science. So I'm just toasting my bread on high. So I've just toasted a slice to see if I can salvage it and eat it. So it's got brown on one side and kind of brown. I think you can see here where I've got some little jelly bits where I didn't beat my psyllium husk up properly. Anyway, let's put some butter on it. I'm not going to eat that bit because that bit looks a bit odd, a bit undercooked. Okay. So toasting it looks pretty good, but I'm going to go back up. Okay, let me have a taste. You know, the texture isn't too bad. I think it needed another 10 minutes to bake. The crust is quite nice. All right, I'm going to go back and have another play, and hopefully I'll release a better video very soon. But this is kind of showing you my process on how I test a flour, adapt, and then refine. You know, it tastes pretty good. Thanks for watching.